Right. Hello. How the devil are you? Oh, let's just have a look and see what's going on. Ah, interesting. I've just had a text from Tess Fowler saying that, did you mean today? Yes, I did. Um, yes, hopefully she'll get herself sorted. Yes, it's been an interesting week, and that would be, yeah, this is going to be an interesting show, I think. Yes, for those people that may have not seen the my social media updates earlier, yeah, I've got the Rona. I've tested positive for COVID as of very late last night, early this morning. So something like 1 o'clock Sunday morning. I might as well explain it now and just kind of get it done. I'll go this way so we can do this. Right, yes. So at least you can see me now that they explain it. Yeah. Did a couple of great shows this week, which we'll talk about once the opening credits are done. Thank you very much indeed for tuning in to watch those. They were so much fun. But yeah, I've been suffering from a stinking cold from about Monday evening. And yet, it kind of made its appearance really well known on PJ Holden's show. Really, we're not feeling great. But on Wednesday, my temperature was pretty high. It was at 38 degrees. So I tested. I made sure that I wanted to make sure that everything was okay, and I tested negative. So I've been into work. I just thought I had a stinking cold. It's that time of year. It's a stinking cold. Um, I've done a couple of presentations at work. I've been swimming. I've been out and about, and I've felt really bad about that now because last night Caroline said that she had a little bit of a scratch in her throat. She's not been feeling great as well, but she's just felt that's been either long COVID or other issues that she's got. At which point she tested and she tested positive. The idea was I was going to come home very late last night and test myself, see what the crack was, and then sleep downstairs out of the way so she can be isolated. As it happens, I tested positive, so I went up to bed and stayed with her. So the reason why we're in this location, which is this is going to be my new bedroom. We're waiting to wallpaper this bit. It's because we're away from my father. I'm wiping and disinfecting everywhere, and we're doing our best to kind of keep things. Hang on a second. Tess Fowler is a little bit uncertain about what we were doing, so we're just kind of squaring that up now. Oh dear. So there we go. So I'm kind of out of the way today. We've been staying in the bedroom. We've been kind of keeping away from my father, who's at the end of the day, he's the north side of 70, and he's had his health issues as well. He got corona back in 2020, and it hit him really, really hard. So it's a case of just keeping everything nicely sterilized and keeping out of the way. I'm able to talk. I don't think any kind of coronavirus would stop that. Very sniffly. Feeling a little bit of tightness of the chest, but nothing too dramatic. Yeah, I'm just very under the weather, and that's where it's hitting me at the moment. So hopefully you're going to bear with me as I kind of gravel voice my way through this as we do another Talking Con, a cup of tea. But for everybody who messaged me today when I posted this morning, because I posted yesterday that the governments have been saying, oh, well, we're through this now. We're through lockdown. We're now in herd immunity. Let's get back to normal. And then I turned around and said, and every single 10th post I see on my social media feed is, oh, I've got the corona. At which point I then retweeted it this morning saying, yeah, and including me, apparently. So that's where we are. So bear with us. I'll try and be as lucid as I possibly can. Tess Fowler is on the way, but the good news is we can talk WonderCon and badge sale, and we will do that after we start our opening credits. But I just wanted to say thank you very much indeed to everybody who reached out today after I did post online that I have tested positive. Thanks for all the kind words and all the best wishes for myself and for Caroline. Hopefully, we'll be better at it on the other side of the other side of it. Tess Fowler on the way. WonderCon conversation, and we're going to be talking Batman with Mark Searby as well a little bit later. It's going to be a packed show, this. Good evening and welcome to Talkin Con, a cup of tea with Englishman in San Diego. Yeah, I'm back on standing up mode as I have been relegated up into what was my attic and will be my new master bedroom for myself and Caroline. The reason why I've been up here and out of the way is because, yes, I have been tested positive for the Rona. Myself and Caroline, we tested yesterday. I tested very late last night. When I got back in from a gig, I was out DJing. I mean, I do my best to stay safe and keep everyone's distance. Generally, I wear a mask when I'm out and working as well, or when I'm out at a bit of distance. But yeah, I've tested positive, which means, I mean, we're both under the weather. We're both double jabbed. We're both boosted. And right now I'm being very kind of up and bubbly. I'm feeling very stinky cold, and I have had a stinking cold, and I thought this was a stinking cold throughout the course of this week. But thank you very much indeed for all the kind words and best wishes that was reached out today. So thank you so much indeed for all of that. We'll get through it. We'll see how we go. I'm not going to go into work this week. Going to rest up, and we'll see what happens, and we'll go with that. Right, so Talkin Con, a cup of tea with Englishman in San Diego, each and every Sunday talking comics, Comic-Cons, and all the stuff and nonsense we get to enjoy at such shows. We do get the chance to have some spotlight episodes where we talk to some great creatives. Do check out the shows that we did this week because we spoke to, the chat we had with PJ Holden about The Lion and the Eagle, which is from Aftershock, their new prestige format book. Check that out because the man can talk. I thought that was going to be, I was feeling at the worst of my cold on Thursday night. And I thought it was just going to be a 45-minute thing. Let's just get this done and get it out of the way. An hour and a half, nearly 2 hours later, and I just could have carried on going because the man could talk and he had some great stories. Do check that out. It's on the channel. But we've got ourselves a special guest. And I think she's just kind of getting herself sorted. Considering that she didn't quite twig that, yeah, Sunday, this is when we do our show. This is when we do our thing, which means we've got, and we've got Chris in the room as well. Hello.
I'm just doing laundry.
Just listen.
You have pants on, right?
Yeah, my voice is
It's a Sunday. That's what it's all about. It's doing chores.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Of course we can. We can see you.
Cool.
Loving the hat, by the way.
This is my Stranger Things I'm representing.
It's very nice.
I feel like I should put headphones in.
You can do. You can.
I'm going to try to do that.
Anything you like to make yourself.
No, I got it.
Go for it.
Okay, seriously, I was asleep like 10 minutes ago. I swear it was super casual. I swore you were like, oh yeah, we do this every Sunday. I was like, I know that, Leonard. Of course I know that. And then I didn't put together. You were like, no, this Sunday. So I got your message. I was like, the link's not working.
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Hey, listen, I was fully expecting. It was when you turned around and said, can I get myself ready? I said, okay, I'll see you in about 10, 15, 20, 25 minutes. I can talk WonderCon badges. I can talk about something. And then you just suddenly showed up, and it's great. But listen, thank you
I grabbed my phone, threw my hat on, and was like, "Let's go."
Oh, fantastic! Listen, it's so good to see you,
You
because
too.
it's been
so
I've missed
long.
you. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I was trying to work out when we last saw each other, and I think it's
2018.
San Diego.
Yeah. Was it San
Was
Diego?
it?
I think it was
Yeah,
London.
London.
I think it was London.
MCM.
MCM. Yeah.
That was it. Sorry, I'm going to be
Yeah.
sniffling all the way through this.
I am so sorry. I had no idea you tested positive for Rona. Oh my
I
God.
know. It's not only that, but it was when Caroline sent me the text saying, "Oh, I've got a bit of a scratchy throat, and I have tested, and I'm positive." And I went, "Okay, I'll go home and I'll test, and I'll probably I don't know. It's probably just a cold, so I'll sleep downstairs." And I put the drop in, and it almost the line just went, "I'm here." And it was almost, it's like there was none of that 30 minutes waiting nonsense. It was like, no, you're on.
Are you guys still like with mask mandates and everything, or I heard you guys lifted them?
We have. That's the thing.
We just did too. They just lifted all of ours, and LA is ridiculous.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, they're lifting the mask mandates, but myself and Caroline, we are still wearing our masks. We are still out and about, and we're wearing our masks. To the point where we long-time watchers of this will know, because I talk about this a lot. We went to Thought Bubble. We felt super safe. Everybody was wearing masks. Everyone had to be all the cards and everything on the way in.
Yeah.
Went to Wales Comic Con, and we felt like the only two sane people in the asylum.
That's my nightmare. It's my worst fear.
I know. But that's where we're at the moment. And with work, if you are not showing symptoms, so if you are feeling okay, you don't have to self-isolate. So that's where we're at the moment.
Oh, the world's going crazy.
I know.
By the way, I have just missed your face so much.
Oh,
you are, I have to tell you to your face, when I got sick, I hope this is like okay that I'm just taking over. When I got sick, when I was diagnosed in 2020, the first thing I thought, it was so random. I was like, oh my God, I'm never going to see Leonard again. Like, if this goes south, I'm never going to see Leonard. And you, for some reason, like symbolized for me the whole time I was sick, conventions and like the life, because you were one of the first ones who made me feel super safe at conventions. And you were just this giant, force of nature. And all I pictured, I swear to God, all through chemo, when I pictured going to conventions, I was like, I am going to run into the next convention and I'm going to tackle hug him so hard. And that's literally, I swear to God, when I would get sick, that was what kept me going, was like, I'm going to grab Leonard and hug him. I miss him so much. So, bro, I've been wanting to tell you that for 2 years. I love you so much. You have made my convention experiences so cool, so amazing, so welcoming. At times when people were horrid, like super horrid, and all I want to do is just run and like, just tackle you and the missus. Tell her I miss her.
I will do. The thing about rugby tackling me, I mean, when we last
I'll hurt myself.
when we last spoke, I was quite chunky, so I could probably handle a rugby tackle at speed. I've actually, because of Corona and because of the lockdown and because of working and doing exercises, I've lost a lot of weight, so I'll probably fall backwards. So don't.
Well, hey, I have way more energy now. I'm 80 pounds lighter than the last time you saw me.
Oh wow.
Yep.
Oh, okay. Let's get into this. Let's
okay,
talk.
Let's
catch up. Because I mean, the two things that I definitely want to talk to you about is, number one, your autobiographical project that you got into that, because that looked amazing and looks amazing, and I'm really up to see where you are with that, because I know you've been you're all over the place. It's great. You're generating art and you're generating bits, and it's great to see. But also, 2020 and the last 2 years, for me, you've been one of the most inspiring people, because you've just looked shit in the eye both you and Chris and gone, fuck you, and just gone hell at it and just taking it on, and it's just been so inspiring to see. For those people who don't, okay, let's really go back to, for those people who don't know who you are, Cliff Notes, who is Tess Fowler? Go for it.
Hi guys.
Hi.
I'm Tess Fowler. I started working in comics long ago, probably around 2010. I did some really terrible Michelle Obama comics. It was the first job I ever got. Very swiftly, that turned into a stint on the series Rat Queens for Image Comics. One of my very favorite projects was called Kid Lobotomy, with Shelley Bond, who used to be at Vertigo, and with the how do I describe him? The surreal Peter Milligan.
Incomparable Peter Milligan.
Right? Bless his heart. And also got to roll with Mr. Philip J. Bond, who did a number of things for the Black Crown imprint. That was just, oh my gosh, I was like with royalty. And then after that, I got to work on Dungeons and Dragons, A Darkened Wish with my buddy B. Dave Walters.
Which I'm going to interrupt there.
Yes.
That is a criminally underread book.
Right?
Everybody. If you can check that out, if you can find prints anywhere, I mean, okay, if you really need to go to Comixology now,
right?
Fine. Yeah, just try and track that book down. Dungeons and Dragons: A Darkened Wish, Chef's Kiss, stunning book, stunning book.
Thank you. So, and then I've done a number of things in between for Marvel, DC, Dark Horse. Like I've done a lot of little random things. Oh, I got to do a Wonder Woman with Trina Robbins. I've had some fun, but in January 2020, I quit the industry. There was a whole lot of hateful things going on, a right-wing fascist movement who came after a whole lot of people in comics, and including me. They actually harassed me horrifically, even through chemo. Didn't talk about that a whole lot. But I quit. January 2020, I was like, new lease on life. I'm going independent. I'm going to do my own comics. I was so excited. My husband and I were making statues. We have a fleet of 3D printers now. We were so ready. February of 2020, getting out of the shower, I was like, oh, that's weird. What is that? Found a lump. Called my husband in, and I said, sweetheart, I know what this is. And he was like, no, it's not. No, it's not. I said, yes, it is. My grandma had this. I know what this is. I need to go to the doctor. Went in. Doctor tried to tell me, nope, that's not what it is. I said, send me for a biopsy, send me for a scan. And turns out it was malignant. It was stage 0 and stage 1. I had 2 tumors.
Okay.
Yeah, breast cancer. But I found it super early. They did tell me, they tested me thoroughly and found out I am genetically predisposed. I was 80-90% risk of like 5 kinds of cancer. So I got to have a whole lot of fun in 2020 having pandemic cancer. Chris could not go with me for anything. I've had 5 surgeries. I was horribly awake for 2 of them. 2 procedures I was awake for. Felt it. Chris was not allowed in with me for all but 1 surgery. And here I am. I've lost 80 pounds. I'm eating right. And I'm back to work. I'm working independently on a 350-page memoir about the cancer stuff. But it's not scary and it's not sad. So.
No, I mean, well, first things first, congratulations on taking cancer on, and F cancer, absolutely. Because, I mean, basically you and I are 10 years apart with our cancer stuff. Very similar stuff, because I caught it, well, I caught mine about a year late, because like an idiot, I just thought it was something to do with my diet. But same drill, I caught it while it was small, so they treated it. But I only had the 1 surgery, and I didn't lose the boobs. But you lost the boobs. But the fact that you've taken it on, and then you're wanting to tell your story about it, because I mean, is it just about the cancer? Is it, because I've seen stuff where you're talking about so much stuff in your life and how you've confronted it and how you've battled it. I find that's so inspiring.
So basically, I'll give you the gist of that. I feel like I'm just talking to a friend and like catching up. This is so cool. Okay, so basically it is the 2-year cancer journey. It has all the surgeries, everything. But throughout that, there's 3 different stories. There's a story of me when I was a teenager and abuse that I dealt with. There's my mother's origin story. My mother and my grandmother are not, well, my grandmother has passed away, but they're not very nice people. Fairly narcissistic, that type of personality. But I talk about their strengths. You know, start talking about what they did to me and what they allowed other people to do to me. But then I go back to what they dealt with. And it's a bit more empathetic. And I have wild stories in my family. Wild stories of survival, which, I mean, my own origin story is bananas. Like I was, you know, the product of an extramarital affair, and the way that came about was like, if I wrote the movie script and sent it in, people would be like, that didn't happen. That's not true.
Yeah.
It was crazy. So I'm going through all of that on paper, painting it myself. It's fully watercolored. So
again, something else I wanted to talk about then, because you certainly from Rat Queens and also from Kid Lobotomy, you have, or had, no, you have a distinctive art style. You see it with your cards as well. But then I see your watercolor stuff, and it's a different vibe, and it's a different shape, and a different shade.
Yeah.
When it came to coming up with this story and planning it out and plotting it out and making this you, and making this you're pouring it out of you, where did you think about the choice of style that you were going to go for, and what you wanted to do, and how? Because I mean, I love autobiographical stories, comics, because they are. It's not just I have to tell the story. It's I have to tell my story, and I have to tell it my way. I have to. This is me on. This is the mirror of me on the page. So how on earth do you just then go, okay? You then have to take yourself out of the equation and go, but I have to deconstruct this like I am making a comic. I have to, or a story. I have to do all of that. How do you do that?
It's such a different process. I was fascinated because, you know, normally I'm just an ink monkey. That's all they need me for. So I would do pages, you know, just black and white, and hand them off to a brilliant colorist like Tamara Bonvillain. She was, who, by the way, oh my God, if your viewers have not seen Tamara's work, Tamara has worked on everything. Everything you've ever read, Tamara's name is probably on it. What was that? Yes.
Legend.
So I always had somebody there who, with more experience than me, to make my work just sing. And I got to the point where I was like, wait, what? You know, like sometimes people would color the eyes and it would be all wrong. And of course, you know, a reader doesn't care, but I would look at it and go, there's no soul. Like, there's always soul in the eyes that I draw, like really deep, soulful eyes. It's just something that's important to me. So I was like, I can't. If I'm going to draw these people who I have, you know, mixed emotions about, or I love or adore, like my baby cousins, I need to handle that. They're mine. No one else is ever going to be able to touch them. So it was a very protective thing, but it was also a matter of expression. Because once I discovered painting and really just leaned into it, when I worked with Critical Role, the Twitch D&D show, I did a lot of work for them, and I did a lot of experimentation. I guess you'd call it fan art. Yeah, so I did that endlessly because I adored the show. D&D was something that I connected with very early on, something from my siblings. It was like kind of a spiritual thing. I do a lot of bunny ears, sorry. So I knew from all of that painting, like when it came to my story, I needed to control everything. And if you look at my work online from the memoir, there's a lot of swirly, like 1980s Boris Vallejo fantasy backgrounds, because that's the language I'm speaking. I was that nerdy little fantasy kid that, you know, with the D&D Dragonlance books and with the Elmore art. I have an Elmore print like right behind me. That was
Nice.
my artistic language. So yeah, that was it.
That's it's so cool. Because I really like the way that you have approached it in almost kind of, because you hear about some writers where they go, okay, well, I take a page and I stick it on the wall and I make this wall of the script, and that way I can see it in front of me and I can see the but you were taking pieces and you were putting them on your sofa and or around the wall, and you actually you go and you sort of like you. That must be such a mind trip to then have your life there, painted in front of you, not just kind of like page by page, but literally just mapped out.
Because there's no script. Like, I'm not writing it because it's terrifying situations. And to write about the cancer and write about the diagnosis and to even write about the reactions, you know, that my husband had is so painful. So I was like, all right. Mignola told me once that he didn't script for a long time, that he would just thumbnail and add it in later. So I was like, why not? I took a little sketchbook and just started going. But what that led to was I was excited for certain pages, so I would just start painting. Actually, let me rewind. I'm so sorry I'm being so talkative.
No.
There's so much to tell you.
Don't. This is perfect. This is exactly. We're catching up. This is great.
So originally, I had started to do this book in January of 2020, but I was not in it. I had an avatar character who was going to go through everything. When I got sick, a very nice comic book creator named Fabio Moon told me how important the art was to him when he had gone through hardships such as this. So I was like, how could you possibly draw when you're in this much pain? I don't understand. Like, how do you get your head on straight? And he was like, the art got my head on straight. So I grabbed paper and was like, okay, this is what I know how to do, as simple as breathing. Let's see what I can do. So some of the main pages in my memoir, I actually originally penciled like in the middle of chemo, right before surgeries, right before chemo ended. Yeah, so there's these pages that are super raw and super terrifying. There's one that Chris and I, every time I would pull it out to like try to work on it, it stayed in pencil for 2 years because he and I would just both burst into tears. We couldn't do it, so it was like, oh, put it away. That is now being painted. Like, I've conquered so many of those terrifying pages. Fabio was right. Fabio was totally right. Exactly. You know, and it changed my life. Like, I remember the last time I saw you, I was crying. I was stressed out. The anxiety was through the roof. I couldn't manage it. And so now I have THC.
You've got armor.
CBD. What was that?
You've got armor.
Yes. But what's interesting, I barely need it. I ain't afraid of nothing. And Chris, my caregiver, my husband, my sweet, tender, you know, wonderful cherub-faced boy, is now a total badass. Like, he was already badass before, but cancer triggered his like childhood traumas. He had so much repressed stuff that we didn't even know about. So this man got himself into 6 months, eight months of therapy, hardcore therapy, and just went at it, went for it. Absolutely eradicated so much stuff that was haunting him. And we're like on cloud 9. It's bananas.
You two are warriors. You two are warriors.
I talk to my doctor once a month. because I have to go in and get a shot. I get shots for the next like 5 to 10 years. And it's bananas because I'm just like, yeah, cancer was a blessing. Like, it was a curse, but there was a silver lining. And my doctor's like, what's wrong with you? What's the matter with you? I'm like, no, wait, had this not happened, I was like, this kicked us into like boss mode. You know, it's cool. I mean, it's not. I don't wish this on anyone, but yeah.
I mean, when I've spoken to people, creators about autobiographical comics, I mean, I've spoken to Rachel Smith, and it's a question I keep asking her, and she doesn't ever give me a right answer, or an answer that she kind of talks away around the question. Is that whole idea of putting those the battles and the traumas and the mental anguish or the mental issues and any kind of battles you're putting onto the page, then reading that and having the reaction of other people, how does that transform the art, and how does that then you kind of re-wrap it, as it were? And she can't quite grasp what I mean by that. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah.
Just have you re-wrapped your own creative work through creating it? Okay,
No.
I need a drink.
No, actually, because I was so vocal throughout the process, throughout everything I was going through. I came out online and said what was going on before I even 100% like had the test results back. I knew. I so knew. And I wanted to prepare my audience because my audience, my followers are so interactive. And I've gotten to know so many of them on a personal level for years. And there's quite a few younger people who tend to rely on me. I'm kind of like, you know, that guiding light a lot of times for them because there's no one else. A lot of misfits like me. So I was like, I'm not lying to them. I'm going to tell them everything so they're not scared. I'm really, really big on, I don't want you to be afraid. And if it's my time, it's okay. I don't want it to be an extra trauma in someone else's life if I have to go. So, and I don't like cancer books or memoirs or anything like that are really terrifying because I've had too much trauma in my life. It's too dark. I can't do it. I need to stay in the light. So if I was going to tell this story, I know my audience and I want to tell it with kindness. And with there's actually a narrator breaking the fourth wall. It's me going through and saying, okay, come on, this one's going to be a little rough, but it's only like 20 pages long. Follow me. I'll keep you safe.
Nice.
Because that's what I do online. So what's interesting is by talking about cancer so much and just telling everybody, it's okay. You don't have to be scared. Look, I'm okay. I have followers who come in and say, hey, my wife was just diagnosed, or I was just diagnosed. I've had a lot of very young women say, hey, I was just diagnosed. And I don't know anyone who's been through this. Can you be my point, you know, where I'm like, yeah, come up the mountain. I got you. Yeah. So that has definitely affirmed my decision to choose kindness and not just, you know, throw people into it. No. I've had so many conversations like that, and it's changed my life. You know, I want to change other people's lives.
I don't doubt it. I don't doubt it. I mean, I want to talk about your fans and getting back to seeing them again. We want to talk about conventions in a minute. Let's take a couple of questions or a couple of comments. We got Andrew English, who's very much up for finding out about a trade of Dark and Wish. We've also found out as well, yeah, there is one available. It's $10.49 on Amazon. Go check that out. But he's also asking the question, the page that you and Chris struggled to look at for all that time, was that page the hug between you two?
No, it was actually I was fighting to describe what it had felt like when cancer landed on us, and so I drew it. And it's Chris and I sitting on our bed, because that's where we were a lot of the time. Like before this hit, there was a fair amount of depression, struggling with trauma, so we would hide in our bed, and that was where I worked from for a long time, because I couldn't leave it. It was our safe space. So it's us sitting there, and then it's a close-up of me looking much heavier, and his fingers are on my chin, and it's him smiling at me because he's got his arms up like this. He's smiling at me, and then a harpoon hits through my chest and then starts dragging me off the bed. So it's this idyllic, like, beautiful scene, and this like ancient whale harpoon comes, grabs me through the chest right where the tumor is, starts to drag me off, and it's him grabbing my hands, and it's us begging, like, please baby, don't go, please, I'm so scared. And it captures the terror of it. And it's me slowly being pulled off panel, and him on the bed trying to drag me back and then losing me. And the next shot is a double page spread of me being just pulled out of the room, just into blackness, because the old me died immediately upon that diagnosis. I mean, you understand. You can never go back.
No.
You can never go back. And mine was aggressive. Had I not caught it, it most definitely would have taken me out. It was bad. But because I was so anxious, because I was gifted that anxiety at birth, I checked all the time.
Yeah.
And I mean, you remember the girls were big. I was like a needle in a haystack. That's what my oncologist always says. Needle in a haystack. I don't know how you found it. But I did, because my grandma had it when I was like 13. And she showed me, because she lost her left breast. I had it in my right. She had it in her left. She lost only her left breast. And she showed me. She took me in the bathroom. She was in her 60s. Took her shirt off. She said, look at it. This is what could happen to you. Let me show you how to test. Throw your arm up. And I'm like, Grandma, calm down. But she showed me. Wow, I got off on a tangent. Anyway, yes, Andy. That was the page.
Fair enough. I mean, speaking to you, hopefully people will get the ball of energy, which is Tess Fowler, which I love dearly. Is the real quick before we talk about fans, short answer then, with the book, is it linear? Because I would love it if it is a case of, you know, when you talk about that, it just say you get into that page and it's you're being pulled and you're pulled away, and then go, tell you what, I'm going to come back to that, and then do something else. You know what I mean?
There's a lot of that. There's a lot of that, but when I get harpooned out, I get dropped into Comic-Con 2004, where I met Chris, because that's like the core memory. So it's like freshly diagnosed me getting dropped in, and then Survivor Me, the narrator, is there too, and takes her hand and says, I know you're scared. It's okay. I know this is what you don't want to lose. I know. Let's do this. Excellent. So that's how we get thrown in. So see, not scary, super hope punk.
Good. That's what we like. No, I'm so looking forward to seeing it. And seeing the full final piece, because like I say, I've been seeing the pieces that you have been posting. It's I'm really looking forward to seeing. I'm looking forward to seeing the artist edition as well, the work in progress stuff, because the process has been amazing.
That's what Chris said.
Yeah. Now, okay, then let's talk about the fans then, because they are your army. You're the soldier, and Chris is your lieutenant. No, yeah, we'll go with that. You've got an army of fans, and it's been such a while since we've been to cons. I really enjoyed when you shared a video that you found, and I think it was I don't know, I can never remember the name of the
G4.
Yeah, that's it. I can never remember the American Geek channel that they have.
Yes,
G4. And I think
it was like the heyday of G4.
Yeah, I think the reason is a number of those people showed up for Comic-Con on demand, and I finally got to see these people on camera, and they're a bunch of arrogant lads, loudmouths. Anyway, that's a whole other thing. But the clip that they put on, you found of you in cosplay, what was that like to have that suddenly dragged out of the internet and shown at you?
No, it wasn't dragged on the internet. Chris found the CD.
Chris found it.
Yeah, it was buried for years. I thought we'd gotten rid of it, and he was like, nah, I know right where it is. I was like, you're joking. Because G4 came back. B Dave was on it. Excuse me, I'm ready to cough. See? Giving me the Rona through the screen.
Oh, is that what it is? Hey, listen, I'm highly infectious, me. I mean,
Okay.
this is an internet virus.
Right? No, so Chris found it, and I was like, I gotta show this to B Dave. Like, I gotta show this to Dave. So I just, taped it off the screen to send it to him, and I was like, I'll throw it up online. It was hilarious. I'd forgotten I was ever that fit. So basically, for those watching, it's me in classic Mystique, wearing terrible water-based blue paint, which is coming off. Terrible wig. I'm in like platform, what was it, like thick-heeled, knee-high plastic boots. Ridiculous. It was so terrible. But basically,
but you look
I
like
don't
you were
remember
having
how
so
it
much
happened.
fun. That was the thing.
What was that?
You look like you were having so much fun. That was the thing.
I was so new because I came from such a cult-like family who never let me do anything. I really didn't go to my first convention until I was like 23. And that was WonderCon in San Francisco. And then I was on the heavy metal internet boards, like message boards, yeah. So I used to hang out there back when Kevin Eastman ran the magazine. So there were so many phenomenal artists on that board. I wrote a post about Ninja Turtles at one point, and Kevin found it and was like, wow, Tess, like, that's really cool. And I was like, my hero, oh God. And he goes, you know what? You really need to go to Comic-Con. I was like, the what? He goes, San Diego Comic-Con. I was like, I don't know what that is. And he goes, oh my God, like, where are you living under a rock? He was like, okay, come to San Diego. It was in like 3 months. Come to San Diego, work the heavy metal magazine table. I'll pay you, right? Just get yourself here.
Nice.
Yeah. So, and now I'm lost. What were we talking about? Oh,
well, I mean, I'll tell you what. Well, what I was talking about. Let's get back to it. Yeah, it was about the fans, because obviously with coronavirus and with people's anxiety about going back to conventions, the fans being and coming up to your table. I mean, if anyone's been near Tess Fowler's table at a con and seen the love that gets poured in her direction from her fans, where are you now in terms of the anxiety of going back to conventions versus the absolute desire to be in front of your fans again? Whereabouts are you in that scale?
This is the hardest part for me. I am fearless because of cancer now. I am so crazy fearless. And yet I also have this fear of things ending. Like I told you, I was afraid I'd never see you again. I was afraid I'd never see anyone again. And I got diagnosed 4 days after we went into lockdown. That's when the diagnosis came through. I got the call.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm never going to see anyone ever again. So right now, as of today, rewind. When I was going through it, Chris decided to go back to cosplay because we hadn't cosplayed in like 14 years. So he started building a Mandalorian costume because he like had such a connection with the show. And he started building me an armorer costume. That's the character with the big hammer who just, cracks open stormtroopers' heads.
That's going to be amazing.
So he was like, listen, you're going to go through this mastectomy. You're going to go through this hysterectomy. Your body's going to be completely changed. He goes, I'm dressing you in armor. You want to dress out with me? Because when I met him, if you recall, he was dressed like Boba Fett. That's the legend. That's our meet cute. I was like, yeah, let's do it. And he was like, baby, we're going to hospitals. He was like, back when I was in the 501st, we always used to do charity. We used to go to the cancer ward. He goes, you want to give back with me? You want to go to the cancer ward? And I was like, yes, I do. So that was like how he helped get me through. So now we've been talking about, we could armor up. We could totally armor up at a convention. Be armored out head to toe, have the N95 underneath if we want to. And he was like, nothing will get you. You want to go in armor? And I was like, hell yeah. Yeah, I do. And I just recently discovered Doom Patrol. Always knew it existed, but sat down to watch the show. Fell madly, hopelessly in love. Cried through, every season. And I said, hey, I don't have no boobies anymore. I could be Larry. I could be bandaged out head to toe. Let's do this. So that's actually the plan right now, is to build the armor. Chris is in the middle of it. And to get me a feasible Larry costume. So you're going to have Larry Trainer just running at you full tilt to tackle you.
Well, at least I know it's coming. I know it's coming.
Yeah. So I ain't scared of nothing. I'm coming for everybody.
Oh, fantastic. That is putting some armor on.
Yeah.
That is putting a shield on.
Yep.
How about behind a table? That's a whole other question.
Behind a table has been hard to think about because of the hate group. I went out to New York Comic Con with Milligan, with Bond, or with the Bonds, I should say. And I don't think I've ever broke it. I didn't even break that hard with cancer, with my diagnosis. I didn't want to go. I did not want to go to New York. I was terrified. One of the main dudes was there. So that still makes me hesitate, because the new me will beat your ass. The new me does not have a filter, and I don't know how she's going to do if I get challenged.
Yeah.
I'm not scared of seeing fans, because fans, I'll tackle hug. Me and fans are tight. But if I see somebody who wants to start something, I'm gonna spend a night in jail, Leonard.
Well, listen, no. I don't think you would.
No,
because Chris would beat you to it. Chris would beat you to it.
Chris will hold him down.
Oh yeah. It'd be more a case of, do you want to take this one? No, it's okay. I'll whack, bang, bang, bang.
Exactly.
It'd be, who's going to hit down first? Yeah, okay. I think for myself, you behind the table is going to be good, because the amount of love that's going to come your way is just going to be a tidal wave. It's just going to be amazing. And I just, if anything, I know that you have concerns about the hate group, but my actual concern is you just being overwhelmed by just all this positivity coming your way. I think it's just going to be incredible.
Picture it. Picture it. It's going to be amazing.
Yeah. We've got, Andrew, you know how big a fan and friend he is.
Hi, Andy.
Listen, they've not just got to get to you, they've got to get through us. That's the thing. You've got the army as well.
I love you guys.
Absolutely. We've got Toby as well. My weird side of my brain now has a parody of my Corona. Yeah, we should get that recorded. We get that recorded. Absolutely. You posted something online recently, a comment, and I'm really curious, and I want to talk about it, if anything, because we've got Mark Searby loitering in the background. Hello, Mark. Just give us a wave. Hi, Mark. He's been to see the Batman. You turned around and said, I think I can get back in love with superhero comics again. I think, was it superhero comics or mainstream comics? I think it was superhero comics.
All of the above.
All of the above.
Yeah.
Hello, Kat. Talk to me about that. Why did you fall out in love, and what has brought you back, and that whole evolution of that?
I was a diehard Green Arrow fan. I was all about the big two. I was all about collecting. The soap opera of superhero drama. I knew all of it. I called them by their first names, not their superhero names. Like, this was my religion. And the dream was always to work on Green Arrow. I loved Mike Grell. like the Mike Rell years. Oh, and then actually Kevin Smith and Brad Meltzer's runs with Green Arrow. I was like, people still understand him. Oh my God. I used to write Brad, you know, online, and he was like, I always knew it had to be the right story. Like, this was my religion. And then wanting to work in comics, I realized, oh wow, they're all awful. Like, there's so many creators who are just atrocious. It was like being boiled alive.
I'm laughing because I'm laughing because if I don't laugh, I'll just yeah. Because once you know how the sausage is made, and you know the sausage makers are disgusting, horrible individuals, and then it's just like, ugh. So I spent so many years just fighting people, just throwing elbows. Like, no, I'm not gonna work with you. You assaulted so and so who I know. You know, pardon my French. You know, F off. Yeah.
And so just slowly but surely,
fuck off. You can swear on this one. That's right.
Didn't know what the rules were. I got here late. But I couldn't read them anymore. It got to the point where I was like, oh, this dude's on it. Fuck that. Like, I don't care. So quitting the industry was also about the fact that I missed being able to collect. I missed being able to be a fan. I missed being able to go to a movie and not hate it. You know, because I started collecting, I switched and started collecting like more independent stuff. And finally, I had independent, and then I was just collecting old school, you know, UK stuff, old school European stuff. Even if I couldn't understand it, I was like, well, I love the art. So, and that was my first love with heavy metal, with Metal Hurlant. Like, that was what got me in. So I was like, screw it, I'll stay there. But I missed it. I missed it so much. So it took cancer, honestly, surviving cancer. Because you know what my anxiety was like. Now imagine me getting poked full of needles. Imagine me having to get poked in a port, you know, 5 times a week. I lost my fear of everything. And so when it came time, you know, to sit down and watch Doom Patrol, that was a big deal for me because it's a comic book show. And Shelley Bond had given me the big edition to read years ago, and I didn't do it. I was too afraid. So Doom Patrol is really what got me to even be like, hey, let's try a superhero show. Let's see what we can do. And Chris put on I know I'm gonna pronounce it wrong, but Shang-Chi. See,
I probably pronounced it wrong. I'm a middle-class white boy from Yorkshire. I probably pronounced it wrong, so don't worry about it.
But he turned it on because the rule in the house was like, you're not going to make me watch this stuff. I'm not going to be emotionally manipulated by Marvel. Leave me alone. I love you too. Saw the comment pop up. But he put it on. He was like, listen, let's do this. So he put it on because anything with martial arts involved, I'm in. You don't even have to tell me. Just martial arts, I'm in. So he put that on and I was like, yes, this is so good. So I caught the bug again and started picking up some Marvel stuff. But
which titles did you grab? I'm curious.
Doctor Strange is probably the greatest, most beautiful comic like known to man right now. Oh, and of course, you know, Conan counts.
Okay.
I can never pronounce his name. Mahmoud. Who's on it right now?
Mahmoud has
been on it forever. Yeah, who's been on it forever. Conan was one of my original loves, so getting Conan back and collecting it full time was amazing. But God, X-Men is always going to be my first love. I think pretty much any X-Men title. I don't know. It takes me back to being 6-7 years old and pilfering comics out of my brother's room.
I'm struggling with X-Men at the moment. If anything,
really?
because I mean, I struggled with X-Men when I was reading comics as a young'un anyway, because there was just so much X-Men, and it's almost like taking on Led Zeppelin. It's like this massive wall of stuff to take on.
Right.
Which is why I really got into the Ultimate line. Really love the Ultimate line because it just went, here we go. Here's your line. It's almost like a hard reboot. Let's go forward. Then we had House of X and Powers of X, and it was almost again like, okay, it's gotten too noisy. Start it from the beginning, and let's just do this nice linear line. And now we're back to like
that's
12,
not how to
14,
collect X-Men,
18 titles.
No.
Like
that's not how to collect X-Men. That's not how to collect X-Men. Listen, you have to go back to the way you collected when you were a kid. When I was a kid, I didn't know what story arcs were. I didn't know what timeline was. You walk into the shop and you pick whatever you fancy, and you take it on a single issue basis.
I go for the ones which smell nice.
What was that?
I go for the ones which smell nice.
Exactly. That's it. You have to go back to when you were small, when it was like, oh, I just need my hands on anything. When you take that single issue and you just look at the construction of that single issue, it's a completely different game. You're coming into it for the love of it. Fuck the drama. Fuck, what events going on. What a pretty book. What a wonderful book where these people are trying to do good things, or they're sitting around the mansion arguing with each other.
Yeah.
That's what I love so much about Doom Patrol. I still don't know what the comics are like because I have to dig into them. But them just sitting around the mansion arguing, I'm like, oh my God, this is every X-Men comic I ever read. Do you know what I mean? With this horrible man who has way too much power and no one's checking him.
Yeah.
We're all just at his mercy. I love that.
Cool. I'll tell you what, a couple of comments. We've got Shane Chebsey, who you may know. Shane runs a couple of cons in the UK. You probably know him or know of him, and he's well worth.
I got to talk to Shane.
Did you now? He's lovely. He's lovely.
We got to hang out.
We like it a lot. But we'll kind of dovetail that into bringing Mark in, because Mark's been very patient, and he's sat there, and we'll bring him in, and we'll go to that view so we can all see what he's up to. Hello, Mark.
Hi.
So tell you what, Mark, you can also, this is while you're on camera now, so that's an advancement, but still talking to Tess then, what's your thoughts about going to see the Batman, if that's where you are in your rediscovering the superhero thing?
Oh, me seeing Batman?
Yes, this is for you, Tess.
You mean the Catwoman movie? Is that what you mean? Yeah, I want to go see the Catwoman movie. The publicity photos of those two together, he looks like Icarus flew too close to the sun. He looks petrified.
There's that. I think it was Hollywood Reporter where the two of them are looking at each other and then they turn to camera, and I just went, yeah, these two are with two other people. But right? that doesn't look right.
So how was it? Tell us everything.
Go for it, Mark.
Thanks for throwing me in.
Hello, everybody. This is Mark Searby. Hi, Mark Searby.
Hi, Mark.
Hi, Tess. By the way, Tess, if I ever have to change my laugh, I'm going to change it to your laugh. You have the best laugh I've ever heard.
You're so sweet.
You really do. It's amazing. So in terms of the Batman, do you know, it's weird because I was just reading, it's made over $100 million already in the US.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. And that's obviously 3 days, really. And to be honest with you, deserved. Thoroughly deserved. But this is not Adam West. This is not Michael Keaton. This is not George Clooney with the bat nipples. This is a whole other ball game of Batman. One that probably, I think, I don't know. I've never seen it, whether it's been in the films or whether it's been in the animated movies as well, because I love those. I can't really remember having read any of the graphic novels, them being this dark. It's really dark. I don't mean like visually. Well, visually as well, it's really dark, but it owes a lot of love to David Fincher's work.
Whoa.
Really?
Yeah. And not
Whoa.
there's loads of people saying it's 7. It's not 7, it's Zodiac. So if you love Zodiac, you're gonna love the Batman. It's
Whoa.
No.
what it kind of does, and this is weird to say this because as somebody who grew up reading only Batman comics and knowing that this was what he was known for, over the years when you watch the Batman films, he is a comic book character. He's got all the cool gadgets and whatever else. And
Yeah.
at certain times, they kind of forgot that Batman is a detective. That's
The
what he
Dark Knight Detective. That's my man.
There
That's
you
my
go.
jam.
There you go. Well, in this film, he is a detective. He's still got some cool gadgets, but he's only been going for about 2 years. It's mentioned very early on. He's dishing out vengeance rather than anything else, and he's trying to find his way in the world. But what it does is it takes him back to being a detective. So he's in the room looking at everything and noticing everything. So it's a crime film. It's a very grisly crime film as well. I will say this:
Wow.
if you've seen the Saw movies and you don't like the
What
Saw
the
movies,
hell?
yeah, I'm serious. Listen, I've got my notes here. There's so many notes to go through. It's unbelievable. But if you've seen the Saw movies and you thought, yeah, I don't like those, they're quite grisly, I don't think the Batman is for you. There's a couple of moments in this film where Paul Dano's the Riddler has some saw traps on people. I kid you not.
I have been told that while all the cast really equate themselves, Zoe Kravitz is fantastic. And Robert Pattinson. I mean, someone actually turned around and said best live action Batman ever, and I went, "Oh, that's impressive."
Wow.
The review I've been hearing though, Paul Dano, a whole other fucking level.
Yeah, if anybody saw Prisoners, you know, the Denis Villeneuve film, which obviously was an incredible film, it really was, and Paul Dano was incredible in that. It's just a follow-on from that. It's a follow-on from his performance in There Will Be Blood. This is not a performance I expected to see in a comic book movie. I was sat there thinking,
I am so jazzed.
shit. Who has done, like, who in their right mind turns around to Warner's and DC and goes, do you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to make a film that homages Zodiac, Saw. Really, it's not a Batman movie. It's a detective movie. It's also, as you know, as Tess rightly pointed out, it's more a Catwoman movie as well. She is in it a lot. And I kind of like that because they have this sort of... it's true.
Tess is giving it this.
It is. It's kind of weird.
You're blowing my mind.
Honestly, you know, I came away, as I said, I'm a huge Batman fan. When I used to work in Central London, I worked above Forbidden Planet. So when I used to get paid, I would go downstairs and buy the latest Batman graphic novels every single month. It was the only one I basically went through the majority of them for. So I'm a Batman-aholic, whatever else you can call it. But to see a film which is called The Batman and have so much of the other characters involved, I was really impressed with it. You know, the dynamic between the Batman and Catwoman is great. I think it's really entertaining. It's not glib. It's not funny either. It doesn't need to be funny. You know, there's the odd quip in there, obviously, but it, you know, you kind of think, oh, maybe they'll make a quip about pussy or something like that. And you think, oh, God, it's been done. We've seen it before about 20 years ago. It's outdated. There's none of that. It's really interesting how they have written these characters. I mean, Colin Farrell.
Chris, I'm taking it as Batman.
We got Brandon Troy, good friend of the show. Hello there, Brandon. Welcome along. Farrell steals the movie as Penguin, to be honest.
What? Okay, tell us about Colin's Penguin.
I mean, Brandon's not far wrong, to be honest. The interesting thing about Colin Farrell in it is he is literally and figuratively playing Robert De Niro in The Untouchables.
Stop it!
Yeah, seriously. Yeah, and I was in, so I saw this on Monday morning with a bunch of other film critics. And one of them I spoke to afterwards and was like, I didn't know that was Colin Farrell. I'm like, did you not see the press notes? He's like, no, I missed it. I'm like, you didn't know that was Colin Farrell? I mean, granted, he is in a lot of makeup, but yeah.
Has that, right. I don't think you may have seen this yet because I only watched it last night. Basically, I took my COVID test and I just went, you know what, I'm going to sit here and watch YouTube and just wallow. Colin Farrell's on this week's Hot Ones.
No.
Yeah, and it is one of the best Hot Ones, and this is after bloody Dave Grohl's last week, which was also bloody good. Colin Farrell's Hot Ones, but he's talking about being in a mask because Sean Evans asked him, what's it like to do a performance where you are basically in a mask? And he says, no, I'm playing some. Usually, when I'm playing something in prosthetics, it kind of, you try and shine through. This, I transform. I become something else, and I'm someone else when I do this. And I went, I am so down. I am so down.
Man, that is so cool. Okay, I have a question.
Right.
Yeah, go for it.
Are there any noticeable callbacks to different Batman artists that you noticed?
That's a really good question. I will be honest and say I didn't notice anything, but at the same time, I've only seen it the once so far. I think when I see it a second time or a third, which I will do, and I've relaxed into it a bit.
Film. Is there a repeat performance on the way?
Yes, it's 3 hours. Yeah, I think maybe when I've relaxed into it a bit more, if you can relax into it, this is the weird thing. You know, I'm telling you, it's Saw, it's Zodiac. I don't think you can relax into it. There may be stuff in there. There may well be. So to answer your question now, I didn't see anything, but that doesn't mean that it's not in there. Yeah.
There's
hoping
there's a planned triptych that's being planned out by Bill Sienkiewicz, which he's put some work in progress stuff about. He's doing something for an AMC poster, and people are talking about Bill Sienkiewicz's influence in that kind of real, yeah.
I love that.
I'm down with that. Solicitor's Meg, a bit of a long comment, but here we go. Best live action Batman ever sounds like a teenager's take that's never seen anything, but Ben in the suit. I haven't seen it yet, but better than Bale, Keaton, hell, even West was perfect for his adaptation. Yeah, I get that, but yeah, I've just been hearing so much about where people's, I think, expectations, because people just went, Robert Pattinson, really?
Yeah.
Colin Farrell, really? People have just gone with that kind of expectation, and then they've come in and they've just been blown back into the sea.
Well, I felt like I was the only one who rooted for Pattinson because he's actually a really good actor. I'm not a Twilight fan, but he's really good. Yeah. So I was like, yeah, let's see a young Batman. Let's see what happens.
I mean, if anybody, you mentioned in there, Tess, about he's a really good actor. I mean, his work with David Cronenberg is amazing, if anybody has not seen that. But by far, his best performance is in Good Times. It's an amazing piece of work, and it really echoes Pacino's work in Dog Day Afternoon. So that's the film. I think that is the film that probably Matt Reeves saw and went, this is the guy. Look at this. This is the guy. It's a great film. It's only like 90 minutes as well. It genuinely just sort of had a little bit of an uptick when it came out, and then it died a death and nobody really saw it. But, it's out there. It's a really good film. It came out about 5 years ago, something like that, I think. It's a great film. But, going back to what you were saying, Leonard, look, let's be honest. He's a great actor. As much as we can ruffle the feathers of the Twilight and whatever else, that was perfect for the for that time of his career. And also I will happily stand up for the fact that Twilight Eclipse is actually a really good vampire movie.
Really?
It's directed by somebody who understands.
Well, it's been a pleasure talking to Mark Searby. Thank you very much indeed for coming on. Unfortunately, we do have to say goodbye to Mark. Mark, thank you very much indeed for joining.
It's fine. But here's the reason why. And this is the reason why Eclipse is actually a very good vampire movie, because it's directed by somebody who understands vampire movies. And that is the guy who made 30 Days of Night.
Good point.
You know what, Mark? I'm going to give it a shot, because a whole lot of younger women have told me for years, like, listen, it was brilliant. And I was like, are you sure though? Really? Are you positive? And they're like, Tess, no, just watch it. So I'm going to go back and I'm going to watch it. Thank you, Mark.
That's all right, no problem. But you do remember, you have to sit through those first 2 movies. That's hard work.
Oh, God, yeah.
It's really hard work, but just think about what you're going to get, which is a movie that is made by somebody who loves the vampire genre, and the sparkly and the romance is secondary to the violence that's in there. Even though obviously it's it's a what is it, PG-13 maybe?
Yeah.
Okay. As somebody who's got the Rona and won't be going to a cinema anytime soon, it's going to kill me that because I was intending to go today. Intending to go today. People have obviously got, and you've probably read about the headline as well about Warner's jacking up the price, or is it AMC? AMC jacking up the price just for the Batman movie.
Yeah.
Which is, sorry, AMC, fuck you. Okay. Let's dial it back. Okay. At the end of the day, I've also been hearing about the sound design. I've been hearing about the seeing it on a big screen. You're talking about some films which really can work on a small screen as well, because it's all about the atmosphere created. Is this something I'm gonna have to wait for, or is this something I'm gonna? It's gonna kill me that I'm not gonna see this on a big screen.
Yeah.
Do you know, that's interesting? You're the second person to ask me that this week. Do I need to see it on the big screen? Do you know the genuine answer is, because obviously most of us have big screen TVs at home now and amazing sound systems, whatever else, is I didn't come away having the same sense of that cinematography like I do when I see a Denis Villeneuve film or, a Spielberg movie or something like that. I came away more downbeat is not the word, beat down probably from the actual story than anything else. So while the cinematography is great, and Liverpool has never looked so shit, sorry, but it wasn't one of those things that stood out. Having said that, there is a Batmobile chase about midway through where I was like, I am so pleased I saw this on the big screen, because it's a humdinger. This is a humdinger and a half, and I was sat there watching it going, okay, how are they doing this with the camera? I don't understand it. And then I realized I've only seen this done once before in terms of camera work for cars. And that is Le Mans 66. The Christian Bale movie by James Mangold?
Great film.
Great film. So it's using that type of camera work. And I was like, okay, great, I'm in. And that chase sequence is bloody brilliant. It really is. And because I saw the Batmobile and I was like, yeah, it's cool, it's a muscle car, hey, it's cool, and as I said, this is early Batman. He's only been doing it 2 years, so he hasn't got all the gadgets and the gizmos. I was thinking, well, it's fine. And then when it roared into life, I just went from 6 to midnight basically.
Wow. I gotta see Chris, man.
Let's go for a couple of comments. Andrew Dickinson, Bullet.
Yep.
That kind of vibe.
Yeah.
And also there was a comment earlier on. Let's see if I can just bring this up. And this is more about the references, the kind of the tone of the film. Andrew Dickinson again. I am Sam.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's certainly veering towards there, and I think there will be people who go, yeah, this is that, absolutely.
Wow. Okay.
Wow.
Oh, you recommend it then?
Oh, I highly recommend it, but it comes with a big but as well. That's the thing.
Okay. All right.
This is I don't know what the rating is in the US. I imagine it's, I don't know, but here in the UK it's a 15. It's BBFC rated 15. It is absolutely a 15. It is a mid-level, close to top end 15 as well. So I know, and listen, I'm guilty of this because when Michael Keaton's Batman came out, I was underage and I got snuck into the cinema to see that. If you are taking kids to see this, you really have to know that they're going to be aware of what's happening, because as I said, this is not your usual fun times, or it's not it's not Christian Bale or anything else like that. Whereas I love Bale.
There's another film that you haven't referenced yet or mentioned yet, and I'm surprised that more haven't mentioned it in the reviews. Joker. If we're talking like the Nolan films and say Dark Knight, let's forget Dark Knight Returns. Dark Knight, okay, and Joker. Whereabouts on the sliding scale is it between those two?
It's very close to Joker, but at no point did I watch that film going, Oh yeah, no, you can see what they're doing. Yeah, they're aiming for the Joker market. It doesn't feel like that at all. As I said, it's so you've got the Dark Knight over here, you've got Joker, and then you've got the Batman down here in the scum, in the cellar, because that's the type of film it is, as in it's a grimy movie. You know, it could be up the top, but because of the style it is, it deserves to be down the bottom. It deserves to be in the basement. You know, just looking at it and going, this is some dark stuff, which you know, it's weird. The fact that it's done over 100 million already in the US is amazing. But I think there's going to be people who go to see this movie and come away going, that was rubbish. What was that all about? That was terrible. You know, no gadgets, no gizmos. Didn't really see him fight either. I think there's going to be people who this alienates quite a lot because they're so used to maybe Ben Affleck, Christian Bale.
But you know, what's interesting is how many old school pros who've been in it, you know, since before I was born, who are like, this is my quintessential Batman movie. And I was like, what? Are you serious? No. I'm like, you've been in lockdown too long. Like, there's no way. You know, but these, you know, champions of the industry who you know, have been in it forever are on Facebook that they never use talking about, you got to go see the Batman. Like, really? And now I'm just, my hair's blown back. Wow. Okay. I'll go. Dang.
I'm jazzed. I'm down for this film.
Yeah.
If anything, because you know I did that whole the line between Dark Knight and Joker. You'll just say no, it's not even on that line. It's a whole forget that bit. It's somewhere else. It's somewhere else.
Yeah, it's a whole thing. And I was asked yesterday on the radio as well to say, is this DC and Warner's now going a lot darker? I was like, probably it is. And if they are, they're pretty much nailing it with Joker and now the Batman. Let's be honest. You know, they've still got the fluffy stuff. Aquaman, you know, it's a fun flick.
Flash apparently is it's charming.
There we go. Charming, fine. Yeah, you know, that's for your Marvel people. Whereas Joker and
I'm a
Batman,
Marvel person. Shush you.
Yeah, well, no, I'm just saying, you know, there's this sort of shorthand to say with superhero movies that it should all look like Marvel, you know, with about 3 different colors. Thank you, Tess. Tess gets it.
Yeah, where you can take the kids, where you can, it's all ages, because that sells more tickets, that brings more people in. It's Disneyland. It's that whole thing.
The peril is not too perilous, shall we say? They're the movies, whereas you take the Batman and you take Joker and you go, the peril is real here. And I feel like it's coming off the screen. I mean, everybody saw Joker and went, yeah, this is some nasty stuff. This is some real.
When you say that it's 2 years into the Batman's career, as it were, or Bruce Wayne as Batman, where does it feel? Because you know how the Joker felt set mid-1970s, even had like the old vintage title card as well. Does this feel contemporary? Because you know how Dark Knight Returns had some comment about social commentary, about the 1%ers, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Where's this in a kind of chronological vibe?
Well, that's a good question, because I had seen Matt Reeves say that this was set in the 70s, but then I'm thinking it's really not. It could be set. It's very 90s, like, you know, for all of us who grew up in the 90s, which I'm guessing is all of us here. We're well aware of emo stuff. This is emo Batman. You know, this is totally where it is. You could imagine him listening to some sort of moody, you know, punk rock or something like that came out in the 90s that was made by a band in Seattle in the basement of their grandparents' garage or something. That's where it fits. But there is no sort of, it's weird because it doesn't feel like it's got a date in it at all.
Okay.
All right.
But then at the same time, you know, there's the opening sequence. I'm sat there and I'm going, well, this is direct from the Warriors. So is it 70s?
Whoa.
Yeah.
Mark, you're blowing my mind. You gotta be kidding me.
Like, the thing is, though, I'm really like, I'm saying all of this and whatever else, and you know, people are going to go, oh, Mark said it's the best film in the world ever. It's better than The Godfather. I didn't say that. I'm just saying that it is a completely different movie.
Yeah.
And people have to be aware that this is such a different Batman than we've ever
seen. So Lister Smeg, if anyone says Clooney is their main Batman, they should immediately be sent to a loony bin.
Yeah, but bat nipples, come on.
Listen, I can defend the existence of Batman and Robin, if not the film itself. We've had this conversation.
Yes.
My friend did not like it, but all he's seen is the seasoned Batman and did not read his early years. So the whole Bill Finger. I'm still waiting to see a Bill Finger Batman, and I'm hoping that this is kind of that the gateway into that. Who knows?
Because we all have ours.
Yeah,
we
sure,
all have
absolutely.
our version. Yeah,
sure. Despite my better judgment, there are scenes in this movie where I thought, shit, are they going to kill Bruce Wayne? A real sense of threat. Hell of achievement.
That's from Shane?
That's from Shane.
Oh, bro.
He also says a little bit later down the line, it's full of social media references, so definitely modern day, just timeless. Andrew Dickinson, it's 70s, but a bit more Blade Runner 70s. Whoa, okay.
But you see, look, all of these posts, it's not just me who's saying it's coming from all different places. Andrew's saying something there, Shane's saying something there. You know, everybody's taking something different away from it, not just dependent on what you grew up with reading and watching, but also what you've been influenced by, and maybe what you've only just seen as well. That's the thing. But my main takeaway from it is this is Zodiac for Batman.
Wow. And I'm not gonna be able to see it for ages.
It will still be playing. Let's be honest. It's still going to be playing.
It will. Yeah.
Oh God, this is going to be a long ass week. I'm going to be testing every half an hour. Desperately hoping this is going to pan out. Okay, right. Listen, I'm up for seeing it. Mark, thank you so much indeed for coming on and talking to us about it, because I know that you wanted to come on and talk about that. So that. Tess, you sound jazzed as well about seeing it as well.
I think this is going to be my last movie in theaters was Onward, which I loved. The animated Onward. It was so good. It was such a love letter to Dungeons and Dragons. And I lived for it. But I was like, is that really going to be the last movie I ever saw in a theater? Really? I'm going to go see the Batman. Chris has been keeping me alive for 2 years. So he's like, I'm not letting you out of my sight. So, of course, I'm going to have to run it by the husband. Because on this, I'm like, all right, you have final veto. I will not run off out the door away from you, you know. So I'm going to go talk to Chris, because he's the Batman in the house. Okay, he's the diehard Batman fan. I'm the diehard Green Arrow fan.
Yeah.
And I'm never going to get the Green Arrow movie I want, ever. So at least we can get him the Batman movie.
The only way that's going to work is if they actually make Jock's Green Arrow and make that into a film.
Great.
Which would be just a joy if that ever happened. But anyway, that's something else. Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing it. Sounds like Tess is looking forward to seeing it. And by the sounds of things, everyone, guys, if you're watching, if you get to go and see the film, message me on Englishman SDCC. Let us know what you thought. We'll spread the word, and we'll keep the. It'll just keep my kind of endorphins going until I get to go and see it in a cinema. So fingers crossed for it. But listen, I'm going to let everyone get off. Tess, I'm going to either let you get back to sleep or get into your Sunday and enjoy it. Mark, it's late on a Sunday evening, so we'll get off as well.
Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you so much indeed for watching. Mark, Tess, thank you so much indeed for coming on. Tess, you can come back on anytime you like.
Let's do it. I'm fearless. And I miss you. I miss your face.
I miss you too. Especially when you're into the final kind of stretches of absolutely putting the spine on the book. I mean, has it got a title yet, by the way?
Take the Fall.
Like that. I like that. I like that. That's cool. Take the Fall.
Yeah, I had a cancer therapist who was telling me, because I intellectualized cancer, I intellectualized suffering, and she was like, "No, honey, you just have to feel it." And I was like, "I don't want to." She goes, "You can't discuss the feelings and then wipe the feelings away." She said, "You have to feel it." I was like, "No, I don't want to." She was like, "Tess, take the fall. You will live. Take the fall." I was like, "All right." So that was the mantra in my head, was take the fall. Just face it. Face all the demons. Don't be scared. So now I'm fearless.
Fair enough. Excellent stuff. Let's have a look at this. Andrew Dickinson, WonderCon chat next week. Yeah, We're gonna have to do it next week. So yeah, we'll talk WonderCon next week.
Wait, WonderCon's happening?
WonderCon is happening. We had the badge sale this week. This is what I was going to try and fit in, but there are other shows out there that can also talk about it. The badge sale happened. CCI have created a new online portal for their badge sales. It didn't quite manage to handle the load, but then again, it's CCI once again not actually asking the fans to kind of boot test their gear again. So, but you know what? People got their tickets. People got their badges. They're all good. So no, we'll talk WonderCon next week because it's only a couple of weeks away now. So there we go. Let's have a look at this. Shane, all the best with the book tests. Absolutely.
Thank you, Shane.
Absolutely. Solicitor Meg, I wonder if a doctor could say that to a kid about taking a shot. Take the fall.
Take the fall, kid. Let's do
Take
it.
the fall, kid. Absolutely. So yeah, and Andrew Dixon, I'm off. I can bring whiskey. So yeah, absolutely. Right then. Thank you so much indeed for watching. It's been a pleasure to talk to you, Tess. Really looking forward to seeing you in IRL again. And I'll pass on the best to Caroline as well. Mark, all the best to you and to your missus as well. Let's go around the room. Mark, where can people find you online, find out about what you're up to and what you're watching?
I'm on Twitter, Mark_Searby, website marksearby.com, film reviews every Friday in Essex, and then Saturday in Suffolk, and then Sunday in Northamptonshire here in the UK. But you can listen online because the BBC are amazing, so they basically allow it for everybody. And if you disagree with my reviews, good times. Why not? You know.
Absolutely. And Tess, where can people find you? Because I mean, I found you on Twitter when we first.
I live on Twitter.
Yeah,
I absolutely live on Twitter at Tess Fowler. But if you don't want to hear me prattle on about Doom Patrol or all that kind of type stuff, you just want the art, you can follow me on Instagram, which is at Tess Fowler with a 7 at the end, the digit 7. And I am on there constantly. So
excellent, everybody. This has been a blast. I know I'm feeling sniffly and I've had a hell of a week, but this has been an absolute blast. I've really enjoyed myself. Hope you enjoyed the show too as well. Yeah, join us next week as we talk WonderCon. Hopefully we'll have a special guest as well to talk to. Join us for another Talkin Con, a cup of tea with an Englishman in San Diego next Sunday. From myself, from Mark, and from Tess. Enjoy the rest of your weekend and have yourself a good week. Yeah? We'll see you soon. Bye-bye.